All right, guys, welcome back to Crossman Productions. Guys, I know this is an early show, but I am so excited about having my next guest on. This guest I haven't had on in about a year, so we have like a lot to talk about to catch up with. But this is one of probably the busiest person I know on the internet. I like to call her the promo queen, or because every time I watch her show, she's got a new product that she likes to talk about. It's always interesting stuff too. She has 4 talk shows now. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then she's also a cook too. So I mean, this girl is like everywhere. So I want to bring on my friend Rachel. It's been forever since we got to talk. So how's everything going?
Oh, fabulous. Every day is a good day. And I start off every day with my show. I have a little show. Right. I'm here in Houston, Texas, and it's called Coffee Talk. And so in your most annoying voice. And so I go around Houston and people come up to me sometimes and they're like, Coffee Talk. So it's a lot of fun. I've been pretty busy since I saw you last. I think you have too. I see that. That's exciting that we're going, in the right direction. Right. Yeah. I work on several podcasts now. So, I think before I was with Movie Reviews and More. Right. I'm still with them. It's a great show. It's been around a long time as far as podcasts go. You can appreciate this. He's started it 10 years ago. So that's a long time to have a podcast. It's not even about movie and reviews, really. It's anytime people ask, they're like, well, where's the movies and the reviews? I'm like, it's the and more today. Podcast change. Right. I remember when I started, my coffee talk, I think it was called What's Happening Today. And, it just things evolve and they grow and they change. And so do you. Anyway, so I'm doing Movie Reviews and More still. That comes on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Central. And then on Monday, I started a new one called Love on the Rocks, ROX. And it's at 9 p.m. So, me, you remember I go to bed very early and I wake up very early. I wake 4 in the morning. I just like last night. And it doesn't matter.
Already posted stuff this morning.
Yes. So it does not matter if I go to bed
4 or 5 o'clock.
9 p.m. or if I go to bed at 3:59 at 4, I'm like, I'm awake. So, and I'm shooting Coffee Talk, and doing pictures and whatever. So Monday night is the Love on the Rocks. It's a show about, love, and it's a great group of people. We get in there and man, it's like we start to get testy and some people argue and it's so funny. Anyway, it's a fun little show. And then my favorite little podcast is Wednesday Adventures of Pipe Man, and that comes on at 1 Eastern, 12 Central, and on W4CY.com. Gotta say it right. Anyway, so it's a lot of fun. I go on there with wigs and glasses and I'm allowed to. Yeah, I get to be crazy and weird and wild, and you never know what's going to happen. I've actually been, I've been live on TikTok a couple times, twice, and I look up as I'm live on doing the podcast. I look up and it's you've been banned from going live for they punish me, put me in timeout. I don't even know what I did wrong. I mean, you see some wild stuff on TikTok. If you get banned on TikTok, that's bad. That's not good. Something. Yeah, right. Wow. You were very naughty. So anyway, and you want to hear what's really funny is the guy, that podcast, Adventures of Pipe Man, he actually put us on OnlyFans. Yeah. That's, and
wow.
I think we may be the only podcast to do this, but everybody's jumping on it. Like there was the idea really came, I think, from me, because I was watching on the news here in Houston one morning, and it was saying this guy that owned a noodle shop. He started an OnlyFans, and it's like he's just doing it to promote the restaurant. And he's like, if you come in and you eat the noodles, and maybe the noodles fall on your boobs or whatever, and you get a shot of it, I'll give you free meal. Anyway, I thought that's kind of cool. Everybody's jumping on this, even people that aren't, so we did. And yeah, Adventures of Pipe Man. So, yeah, and then the promotions. So I'm actually taking in I'm looking for new sponsors right now. I've got my Gubba Rum, which I shoot commercials and anything that he wants me to do, which is a lot of fun. I've done some cool stuff. Sometimes he calls me and he's like, oh, I need you to do, remember when there was like the fires in Hawaii? He called, do you remember that? Yeah, that was like several months ago. He called me up and he's like, we need you to do something asking for people to donate, and this is where, and blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be airing on, one of the major channels. Never saw it, but he, I know I did it and he loved it. So, and those pictures get a lot of attention. It's so funny is I send him these pictures and videos and let him do whatever he wants, but he's taken, and I guess it makes sense, I'm holding the bottles of rum and he's cropped my head off so you only see like here and down. You wouldn't believe all the people that come in and they're like, oh my god, it's the best picture you've ever taken. I'm like, you can't see me, you assholes. Like, what the hell is wrong? I've had, you would not believe I get thousands and thousands of people that come in with these pictures, just like, I love this picture. God, it's so hot. God, you're so beautiful. One guy, this guy Jerry, sent me a message and he was like, you can't even see your eyes. I was like, you're the only one, Jerry. Oh my God. I thought the same thing, and I get it. The guy's trying to sell his rum. He's not trying to sell the girl, right? So it actually, it's very clever. But not one of my fans even cared. They were all looking at the boobs. They didn't.
I saw.
Yeah, you know what picture I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? I know you saw.
Yeah, I saw the picture, and I saw. I saw it, and I saw the coffee talk you did where you were talking about it. All the people that were responding. Yeah. And you're like, you can't even see my face.
Yeah. Like, what? Everybody's like, you're so pretty. Wow. You're so pretty. I'm like, all you see is like just men. Yep.
Wow.
So, we did, and
so let me ask you this: with the new,
there's a delay. What is it? Tell me.
I was gonna say with the new show that you're doing, Love on the Rocks. You're giving love advice on that. What's it like?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's very interesting because I don't know if you follow me, but I was single for like 10 years. And just this year I started, kind of dating somebody. And so it's been, what do I know about relationships? My history with relationships were like pretty, and that's why I think as people, we get to a certain point in life, we're like, we're just too, I'm not open to it anymore. But organically, I have been dating somebody who, we don't share it or post it or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. This week, the topic was going to be like he canceled out at the last minute, but the topic was ultimatums. And so to me, I'm 50, right? So I'm like, well, that's just stupid. Do millennials even do that? Like, I'm trying to, when we were younger, that people would do, they would do that. If you love me, you would do this. But we're adults now. We don't do that. So I mean, the whole show was going to be about, and I guess that's what we're going to be talking about next week. We were going to do it. The show was last night, and then like 2 hours before, the guy said, we're not going to have our show tonight because we have like a bunch of people that are in the show. And I think like several of them were doing something else or whatever. And so I called him though. And I was like, look, I'm a little podcast queen. If you have a show and you're putting it out there that this is your show, you better go on. Even if all your co-hosts bow out, this is your show. You better turn that camera on and start, because that you got to be consistent.
Right.
You got to be consistent, right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about. You can't just let me tell you, Brian with Movie Reviews and More, the 10 years that he has had that podcast, he has less than 5 times not had a show on a Tuesday. He does it and he picked, it's a Tuesday. It's, not Monday. It's a good, everything he did, he thought it all out. And he is, man, he will put that, he will make that happen no matter where he is. Cause he travels all over the United States, and he will put that thing on. He'll be on a staircase somewhere, like he'll be on wherever that camera's coming on, because people, they expect it. But, I think that's why he's got, so many views, so anyway.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, he's got a great cast with him.
Yeah, he does. He's got Howard Wiggins, whose dad was Leroy Wiggins, who started the Grand Ole Opry. And the reason we have Howard actually is because years ago we went out to Nashville for the Women for Film and Television. It was the SWIFT committee. And so while we were there, I met all these cool people, and Howard was one of these people, and he dressed like a cowboy, just all decked out and stuff. And so I just kept calling him cowboy, and the cowboy, come over here. And one morning I was going to went down to the hotel, and I was going to shoot Coffee Talk. And the hotel was like, it was like, 5 a.m. No one was there. And I'm looking around. I was going to interview the janitor, because I remembered the day before I was like talking to the janitor, and he told me, he was like, well, I have a podcast too, right? And I was like, God, everybody's got a flipping podcast. And he was like, yeah, mine is like, it's like poetry and like sex or something. It was like weird. I mean, like, it was like porn and poetry or something. It was very strange. So anyway, I was like, I want you to tell your story on Coffee Talk. And he was like, all right, I'll be wandering around here in the morning. Well, the next morning I didn't see him, and I'm like, I guess I'm just going to do Coffee Talk in the lobby, just me. And I look over, and there's Cowboy, and I'm like, oh, okay. Cowboy. And he comes over, and he's kind of quiet, right, and reserved. And so I'm like, okay, don't worry about it. Just sit there and look cute, okay? And I was like, I sat down and I turned on the camera, and he's like, what am I going to say? I'm like, shut up. I'm like, I'm sitting here with Cowboy. Cowboy, who are you? And he starts talking about who he is. And I'm like, what? I'm like, are you kidding me? Your dad started the Grand Ole Opry? And he's like, yep. And then he's like, and I remember when I was like, and I got hurt, and I was in the hospital, and Dolly came to see me. And I'm like, you're Chihuahua Dolly? And I'm like, not so. Right. He's like, no, like Dolly Parton. I'm like, what? Who am I sitting with? Like, he was like, and he just started telling me all these stories. It was the coolest little interview, so organic. I mean, he was talking about Elvis, how he used to every birthday send him a present. And then like when he went off to college, his mother took everything in his room and just threw it all out. And he came home like for the holidays and he was like, he went in his room and he was like, Mom, what did you do to my room? And she's like, well, I wanted to make it a sewing room. So he was like, where's all my stuff? And she's like, I found, if you wanted it, you would have taken it when you went off to school. And she was like, blah, 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 all the things Elvis had given me every, and she was like, well, yes, got my and you should have taken it. Like at the level of like, I can't even wrap my head around that. But you know, if you're living, if that's how you grew up,
right?
Those people were like, you know, yeah. Right. Anyway, so yeah, he's on there,
right?
And we've got this chick, Terry Marie, who she's a character for sure. And then we have Natasha Rumbos, who is like this Mexican, you know, pop star. Right. Who's like on, you know, all sorts of, I think she just did like a game show. She was like doing, you know, and she does radio and she's, you know, musician. She's growing. She's, you know, a little turning into famous. Yeah. So yeah, we have a little group over there.
We just had her on that not too long ago.
You did? Her energy is just so beautiful.
Yeah, we just had.
Yeah. I love it.
That new, her new single.
Sugar Daddy.
But the new single that she has.
The Sugar Daddy song.
Sugar Daddy, yeah. We just
yeah,
when she brought the Howard's been on a couple of times too. And what's cool about Howard is Howard has all this cool stuff, you know, like you were talking about Dolly Parton. You know how he used to hang out with her. He has a picture of him and Dolly, and then he also has a card. The card that he was talking about. He actually showed me the card. Yeah. He's
very quiet on movie reviews and more, but I think that's because Brian likes to, you know, he likes to navigate the room. He's very, you know, he likes to have control over when people talk. So. I remember, and Howard's very polite. And so I remember when he started the podcast with us, I remember the first time he was trying to like talk about, you know, whatever, just jump into conversation, but that's not how that podcast works. And once he realized that, he just sits back and he just is until Brian tells him, okay, so, you know, Howard, tell us about, what are you doing right now? And now Howard is like he's getting, you know, hired and doing movies and all sorts of cool things. So he's really doing well. I'm also, you know, I
you know another thing about Howard. Howard loves to dance.
Oh yeah. You know what's funny is he came on like 2 weeks ago and he's such a chameleon, you know, he shaved and dyed his hair like blonde. And he looked like he was 35. And I'm not even joking. We had a guest on and Brian was like, how old do you think Howard is? And the guy was like, I don't know, 35. I mean, it was pretty funny because, you know, Howard is, he's like in his 70s, right? I think he's like, what is he?
Yeah, he's
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think he is in his 70s. Well, he's in great shape for as old as he is.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. He was at one time. He was, you know, way before I knew him. But anyway, yeah. So, have you had a Brian on yet? You should try to get.
They get Brian on the show because I've had Natasha on. She's been on a couple of times. I've had Howard on a couple of times. I need to get Brian on and talk to Brian because Brian seems like a really interesting guy.
He is. He definitely is. And there's another guy, Jeremy, Van Wert that we really like him a lot. He's a doctor out in California that helps couples and stuff, and he just has a really good energy. I'll send you his information. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now you're doing Coffee Talk. You're doing movies review. You're doing Adventures of Pikeman.
Mm-hmm. You got
you're doing Love and all of them.
Love on the Rocks, and and I'm every now and then I'll work with Fox News. They call me up and they call me up and say, hey, come on out and do some stuff with us, and I love that. So but every couple of weeks I work with Fox. Yeah, and they had me on. In fact, there's a TV show, it's called Nightcap, and it comes on at night. So they were like, well, we don't know what's going to come out of this one's mouth, so let's put her on the nighttime show.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You ever thought about doing television, like joining a news crew or like doing on stuff on site?
I would love to. Yeah, I've been asked a few times to play parts in movies, and I'm like, it's funny with films. I mean, sometimes those things don't happen, and so there's a movie called Go Bulldog that is I don't know. The guy sent me the script, and I loved it. I read it, and then right at the end is my part. It's not a huge part, but it's funny because it's a woman walking through this area, and I catch the eye of the main character, this man who's married to this woman who's in her 30s, and I walk in front of him, and I'm supposed to be the beautiful woman that he goes like his wife looks over and he's like, right? And I read this and I'm like, okay. I tell him and I send him a message. I was like, you do know I'm 50, right? Actually, at the time, I think I was 49. I was like, you do not realize my age. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I should be the wife, right? And then this woman who's in, because he sent me a picture, but she was a beautiful woman too. I was like, but she's much younger than I am. I was like, that you better hurry up and shoot that movie, buddy. Because I mean, I still look pretty good. But when you get to be about,
you don't even look good.
I know, but that will change. That will change at some point. It will catch up to me, and I'm going to come on Coffee Talk, and I'm going to be like, right? It's going to be like, I mean, it happens. You can't just stay looking. I mean, I'm still riding the wave of looking, pretty, I'm all right. Mm-hmm. I don't think I look like the normal 50-year-old, but wait till 10 years from now when I'm 60.
You don't look anywhere close to 50.
In 10 years, I'll be 60. In 20 years, I'll be 70. And that is about when my parents both keeled over. I'm like, damn, I have about 20 years left. Shit.
Oh, wow.
Do you ever think about that shit? Like, nope. I just went and I had like a physical.
I try. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get as much mileage out of this body as I can.
Yeah. Well, I went and did my yearly everything check, and everything came back normal, and I'm just like, I don't deserve that. I've been so bad.
That reminds me.
Mm-hmm.
You were posting. You've been
not drinking.
You posted that you we're going. How many days were you trying to go? Without drinking.
I was trying to go the entire month. I went 5 days, and then the weekend came, and I was like, well, I could do that. Right? But, that turned into 2, and the one would have been enough because it was a very strong margarita, like in a bag, and then
in a bag.
It was like from Tacos A Go-Go downtown, and they give it to you. I've never had a drink in a bag before, but they have it in these pouches, and they just stick the straw in, and then you can leave and go next door with it. And or we left and went next door with it. I'm not sure if that's okay, but that's what we did. And yeah, it was. And then I had another one, and I think at the second one I was like, I want to go home.
It sounds like a Capri Sun, like an adult Capri Sun.
Yes, exactly like that. That is very good. Yeah,
that's dangerous.
It was very good and dangerous. Yeah. So, and then the next day I had Pilates, which I do 3 times a week.
Right.
To stay in shape. And the Pilates, I mean, it was not. All I could think about was, why did I drink? It was so good. And now I got to start over. I'm like, day 1. Right? No, day 1. People were like, wait a minute. Isn't today set? And it's funny. I've had people call me out. I didn't even know these. There was a woman on TikTok I didn't know she followed me. I know who the heck she is. I didn't know she knew who I was. And she was like, what happened? She wanted to know, why'd you do that? I was like, well, thank you for being on my ass like that. I need that. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, I didn't know that they had adult Capri Suns out there.
Yeah.
I didn't know that before I made this resolution. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. So what about you? Do you drink or not drink?
I drink occasionally.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
But I work so much that, and I could get called in at any time. So I try to stay sober.
Yeah. Especially in your line of work, right? You don't want to throw the gun around.
Right.
Yeah. I'd be trying to take pictures of myself, like, holding the weapon.
Right.
Can you do that, by the way? Can you, take pictures holding? What's the rule on that? Like holding a gun? I mean, is there something, where you can't do that?
No, I mean, people do it all the time. I don't know how smart it is, especially when you're holding a gun, you're posting it on social media. Just because, you never know. People out there are crazy, and they think,
we're crazy. We're in Texas and we have guns, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing is, I work in security, so everybody, even people who's not technically, so you got level 2 that's not, that's just regular security that doesn't carry. It's unarmed. And you got level 3 that's armed. So, but pretty much everybody I work with, they all carry, and they're all level 2s. I'm like, it's Texas, man. Yeah. Everybody carries.
Everybody carries, right? Yeah. Like my kid, my 6-year-old's running behind me, like.
Most Texas have more than one. They have they got their shotguns, they got their ARs, they got handguns.
My dad, when my parents died, I inherited the guns, and so I'm
cool.
like,
so do you like going to the gun range?
I have not. I would, that might be something that we get together on.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun to go, especially when you have like a like an AR or like a shotgun. Those are like the best to take to a range.
Is that what you do on your free time?
I try to. I haven't been to the range in a while. I really need to go. It's relaxing. You go, just shoot off a couple of rounds. And but it's relaxing to do. But I get so busy, because when I'm not at work, I'm doing the show. And so I'm working now on a new project. I don't know if you saw, but about a month ago, I did a guest appearance on the television show.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So there's a show that they shoot here in Texas called Vindication. One of my favorite shows. And I've had almost everybody from the show has been on my show, including the producer and the director.
Very smart. Yeah.
And actually tomorrow, TC Stallings, which is another one of the characters from Vindication, will be on the show tomorrow. And I've been trying to get TC for a while, but so anyways, So I told the producer, I'm like, hey, look, just give me a like a walk-on role or background character, or just so I could be on the show. So he gave me the information of how to get on, and then I don't know, like a week later, they're like, hey, yeah, we got a role for you. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to send me that. I want to see that clip. I'll post it. I want to see it.
So it's gonna be cool. So they're on season 4. So I'll be on season 4, episode 6. So it was cool because I got to bring my daughter with me, and
so she could see it. Yeah.
Well, she does like all my lighting and my cameras, and so when we went and hung out on the set while I was acting, Jared, the producer, took her with him. And he was showing her how to block a shot, and like as he was directing or whatever, and looking at the cameras, the monitors for the cameras. He was like telling her how he's setting things up, and
oh my gosh,
yeah. So she had a blast doing that. So
that is very cool. Go, Daddy! Good Daddy.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. So. And then I'm working on actually writing a script myself right now.
Really?
I'll have to talk to you about it after, like off camera, because
yeah.
We're gonna try to push something. But talk about acting, it's gonna be here in Texas, so hopefully this will be turned into a television series.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so, you let me know when you need me. When you need your little coffee talk friend.
Right. So yeah, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. So. I'm about like a third of the way through the script right now.
Cool.
But yeah, so yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me and letting me share what's been going on. And I love seeing you. You look good.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so for all the shows, because all 4 of them, tell them again how they can see each show, where what days and where they can find those shows.
Okay, so we've got Monday night at 9 Central, and that's Love on the Rocks. And it's, I don't know where they, I know it's through StreamYard, and then we post it live. And so, right. And I guess you could, watch that off of mine. I'll repost it when it's saved. Right. And then Tuesdays, movie reviews and more is, we do, it's live, and it's through, you can see it on all the social stuff. And, that is Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Central. And then Wednesday is Adventures of Pipe Man, which is W4CY Radio at W4CY.com. And gotta get it all in there. And it's at 1 Eastern, 12 Central. And it's a lot of fun. Cool. So, and then I said it, and then there's Coffee Talk. Coffee Talk you can watch, I'm Rachel Roberts Recipes, or Rachel Ann Roberts. You can follow me on Facebook, or catch me on Instagram, or maybe TikTok for the next couple days until they take it away.
Cool. So let me ask you this: for Adventures in Pike Man, people call in on that show, like you said that they can.
Yes, you can call in and watch. The show is tomorrow. The number is 561-623-9429.
That, and then Love on the Rocks. If somebody wanted to send you like a letter and have you guys like read the letter and give advice, how could they do that?
I don't have that number handy, but I will, also, I don't know.
Okay. I didn't want to put you on the spot on it, but so we'll put that information like in the comment.
We can do that.
Well, cool. Thank you again so much for being on the show.
It's always fun to get me.
It's always fun to get to have people back on and catch up with them and see what they're doing.
Love it. Anytime, baby.
Awesome. All right, guys. Remember, tomorrow we have TC Stalling, so make sure you don't miss on that. And then last week we had, yesterday we had JR the Lion Ridge from Bare Knuckle Fighting. So if you missed that interview, definitely go back and check out JR. his interview. So until next episode, guys, remember, you are uniquely designed with a purpose, and always keep moving forward. Peace.